One of my absolute favorite styles of games are 2D perspective, fast-paced platformers. Ones that really put your platforming skills to the test. And there's a brand new one just like that on the PS4 called Mekazoo. But is this game a cybernetic success, or is it just a mechanical failure? Mekazoo is a 2.5D, very fast-paced action platformer that will definitely put your hand-eye coordination to the test. In the game, you control a series of mechanical animals. You start off with an armadillo, but then you gain the ability to turn into a frog, a kangaroo, a panda, and a crane. And you can switch between these at various times. Sometimes you're only able to use one animal for a specific area, and other times you're able to use multiple animals. You switch using one button, and use each animal's action with another. And these are actually mapped to multiple different sets of buttons on your controller. But overall, there's really only two buttons to worry about, as well as the D-pad. With each animal having a different special move, such as the armadillo being able to turn into a ball and dash up ramps, the frog being able to use his tongue to attach to enemies and platforms, and of course the kangaroo is able to jump. You'll always have the right animals for the right situations, but you kind of gotta get used to the quirks and differences in timing with each of the animals. And you have to also get used to switching quickly between multiple animals in order to best progress. The game is broken up into several worlds with several levels each, and each level has several goals to them besides just beating the level itself. You have gears for each stage, and these gears unlock for beating the level without dying, beating it within a certain time, or killing all of a certain type of enemy. And you need the gears in order to unlock later levels, including the bosses of each of the worlds, as well as the other special bonus levels, which work as a real challenge, that's for sure. There's also diamonds to collect in each of the levels, and even in the hub world, that you can then spend to buy some extra color schemes and costumes and the like for your animals. Like I said before, this game will put your platforming skills to the test. You're going to have to quickly switch between the animals and master each of their moves and time it just right so you'll be able to keep going in platforming. If you run into enemies or end up getting hit, you have two hits at your disposal. You end up getting hit, and then if you're unable to replenish your shield by picking up gems and then get hit, you will end up losing a life. There's also plenty of ways to instant death as well, like giant pits and the like. At the end of each world, there's a giant boss for you to battle, and there's some decent creativity when it comes to these. I wouldn't say there was anything absolutely amazing with the bosses, but they were enjoyable encounters for sure. You have to knock down mines onto them in order to do damage, and every time you deliver a hit, the battlefield or the boss itself changes up a little bit with each hit, and after 3 hits, the boss ends up going down, and you move on to that next world. If you're a fan of fast-moving platformers, like the newer Rayman games, and even to a degree the newer Donkey Kong Country games, there's just a lot of camera angles, cannons pretty much that you're going to be using, that reminds me a lot of the DKC series. From the technical side of things, while the game didn't crash on me and there wasn't any real major glitches, there was some noticeable slowdown and frame rate drops from time to time. I wouldn't say that it ended up hindering my progress, but it was definitely noticeable. Mekazoo is available on the PlayStation 4 for $19.99. It's going to take you a bit to beat each of the worlds, especially if you're going to be going after all the gems and all the gears for each stage. So you're going to have to put in some time and skill in order to finish everything that Mekazoo has to offer, and the game does have a complete trophy list and a platinum if you're able to do all of those things. With everything said, this is one of the funner and more challenging 2D platformers I've played recently, and I had a lot of fun playing through Mekazoo. I'm going to be giving the game a 7 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.